perspective from the opposition as well. The Congress party was alleging that the government didn't focus its spending on providing succor and relief. But the counter argument can be that they're looking to spend on productive infrastructure projects, which is where this massive increase of 35% on capital expenditure will go, which will have a multiplier effect in the years to come. And therefore, it's not a short-term populist, you've got elections in Uttarakhand, Punjab, Goa and Uttar Pradesh budget, but a budget which actually looks out into the future and hopes to deliver returns in years to come, Dr. Singhvi.
Rahul, let me say that there does not appear to be either fizz or pop in this budget. It is lost in minutiae. It therefore misses the bigger picture. In that sense, it's a flat budget. But let me start by saying there are good things in it. Certainly, the good things are, for example, the electric vehicle issue, the swapping policy, the 60,000 crores which are supposedly now given for access to water, tap water, the health, the National Digital Health Registry, generally for health providers and also in particular for mental health. These are good things. Increase by a few large amounts of money for 2 lakh Anganwadis. So these are minutiae, which is good. But let me tell you why the big picture has been missed. Now, for that, very briefly, Rahul, what are the 4 or 5 major problems you have till today? And you had it right from 16-17, pre-pandemic. Problem number 1, GDP is in a consistent decline. I don't want to bore you and your viewers with the figures. You know, from 16, if you take, every year there's a decline, down to 4%. And Arvind Subramaniam, this government's earlier advisor, said that the 4% figure is suspect because the base series has been changed. The second problem is lack of fiscal injection. 10% you say that you have done of the GDP, but actually 1.7% of that is a direct fiscal injection. Till now, everything has been monetary. Third problem is a real serious one of employment. People just want to debunk figures. Average from 8 to 9% and rural slightly less are the figures. Fourth is price rise. I said yesterday that, like Ghalib said, na khuda mila na bisale yaar, you did not increase the fiscal deficit by a fiscal injection because you were scared of price rise. You did not give cash in hand because you were scared of a price rise. You anyway have got a price rise. The WPI index is somewhere around 12% and the CPI by one estimate is 5.3 and somebody says more. So, and the last is the rationalization of the GST. Now, given these 5 things, what has the budget done for these 5? That's the real macro question. What have you done for employment? The only answer you will get is PLI, PLI, PLI. Now, PLI has done very well for mobile handsets, I concede. But if you see carefully, all of the PLI is about technology focused industries, digital. There is hardly any PLI involved for a labor generating youth employment in particular, but labor generating generally. Point 1. Now I'm talking of the critique of the current budget in the context of the past. 2. You just now said fiscal injection. I'm happy there is capex. But you know, Lord Keynes said in the long run, we are all dead. Nowadays with COVID, we may say even in the middle run, we are all dead. Now, capex generates some effect over years. You have to do something on a revenue basis today. None. Third, GST, I was astonished yesterday, Rahul, and I don't think most people know this figure. There are 3,200 tariff changes over the last post-GST period. That's 3,000, not 300, 3,200. And it has gone incrementally from 13 to 18%. You want to get China is supposed to be losing markets because of whatever you call it, international and corona. Do you think those people are going to land up here? This is the best way to woo investors? These are the macro problems. I don't find a single address of any of these. And ultimately, unless you address every budget, you have an estimate and you have a revised estimate. What's the point of saying 8.5%? By the way, every time the budget is now falling about 7.7% behind the prediction for the next year. So this 8.5 anyway, I would say somewhere around 7.5 to 7.7. But look at your past and COVID, very unfortunate, is providing you an excuse because your 3 years prior to COVID up to the end of 2019 were pretty dismal. I have the figures. 8.26 in 16, 6.8 in 17, 6.53 in 18, and 4.04 in 19, which your own former CA just last week doubted because the new series index change. So you are finding that pre and during COVID, the same things which you done the last 4 budgets have not worked. Why is the GDP going down before and after? Well, you Jollywood should do something new now. And that is my problem with the budget.
Okay.